Hello, everybody. Let me see. I might be on. So I'm gonna just start getting participants in here. I see you there. I don't know if you can hear me. I love it. I see people showing up. I love it. I love it. Oh, there you go. I see Elizabeth. I see your hand raised. Let me try and get Ari on here because we are in two different locations. So let me see. Oh my God, I love it. I see everybody showing up. This is so good. Here we go. Let me get this lovely lady on right here. I think she's coming. I think I have her here.
Hello, hello.
There you are. Yes.
Yes, I made it. Hello, everybody.
That's what I need.
Hi.
What's going up?
Yes, thank you, everybody. Thank you so much. Obviously, Sean and I are in two different cities. I'm in Los Angeles. He is in Lake Tahoe. Being fortunate enough to be working on Days of Our Lives today, so I appreciate that very much. So welcome to Aloha Sunset Sessions, to our live life coaching webinar. And also, we are in the midst of changing our name to Aloha Life Coaching, so it's definitely more clear about what we're doing. And before we get into the event and what it is that we do provide, how we provide it, and what type of commitment you make to yourself, really, because it's really about how we support you and your journey. We have we'll have a guest on tonight, which is really exciting. So we're going to thank her for coming on as well. And we have some pre-questions that we got before this webinar started. And if we have time, we will absolutely do a question and answer. So you can definitely type your questions in beforehand. So if we get a chance, Sean will have to read them because he's moderating the event tonight. Yeah. So be patient. So without further ado, Sean is going to take it over for a second to share with you what and how we do things. So take it away, babe.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Good to see you. So there is a little chat box here, by the way, so that is also another way to communicate as we go and move forward. First of all, let me say thank you so much for being here. Deeply grateful that you've taken the time, spent some energy to show up. And we're going to talk about creating change and transformation, two different things, by the way, within this webinar. But you've already created an opportunity for yourself by showing up and being here, creating change in your life, which, by the way, is the beginning of any great journey. So thank you so much for showing up. Let me give you a little bit of backstory, a little bit about how we do and why we do what we do. As many of you know, we are creative people, we are actors, and what we have been doing for 25, 30 years is creating life experiences that impact people's lives, whether on screen and off. But certainly, as many know, on screen, we create an experience that moves somebody, that touches their lives, that impacts their lives through our imagination, a thought, and creating that desired outcome. And it goes on the screen and somehow it moves somebody. That's it. That's the heart of who we are. And the power of that creation, creating through a thought, you have it. We're all creators. We all have the power to create. Every one of us. We create, you created this moment. You can create a good experience based on a kind of a really good thought, create a bad experience based on a bad thought. Those choices really start with you, right? When you acknowledge that. So as life coaches, well, why are we doing what we're doing? And we're inspiring, we're empowering our clients, and there's great transformation that's happening, which is a huge blessing. But we're inspiring, empowering people to create the life they imagine. A state of being alive, feeling alive with a sense of passion and a sense of purpose. So let me just unpack that just a little bit, right? Creating. You are in control. You are self-empowered to create. Okay, feeling alive. That's a lot of things for a lot of people, right? It could be very many different things. But what is that feeling for you? Those are the conversations we have one-on-one. We're not doing it on a screen. because now we're talking with you. We're learning about you. You're learning about yourself, more importantly, uncovering some blind spots that you might not even recognize are obstacles. And I said about finding your true passion and purpose, two different things. Passion is for you. It's what you love. It's what makes you happy, what brings you joy. Finding that, when you find that, you've seen the people. When they have it, you're like, what is it about that person? They're just living with this passion. It's because they love it. It brings them happiness. Purpose is in service of others. We're doing something bigger than ourselves, and that brings meaning and fulfillment into our lives. And I'll just share with you, talk about passion and purpose. For me, daily goal. My passion, my purpose, enriching, inspiring, empowering, energizing, elevating, enlightening the world within me and the world around me every day. If I'm not doing that, if that goal is out of line, I feel it, I know it, and I'm like, okay, what's happening here? I'm managing that thought. So now I go, okay, well, I need to fix that. I'm not on the course, and I'm not creating the life I imagine. Why is that? That's what we're doing. And you have that power. You have a wonderful imagination and the power of thought. Nobody can take that from you. Nobody. You have it. How you use it is the challenging part. And that's at the heart of why we're life coaches, because as many of you know, and we're getting, the emails that come through, people are struggling. People are in pain. People are confused. They're lost. What do I do? How do I get unstuck? How? And it's through the process of creating. So there's tons of different life coaches, right? Creative mindset coaching. That's at the heart of what we do. We create with our minds the life experiences we're looking for. Okay, that's at the heart. Of course, there's a wheel of life in different areas of life we focus on as we get to know what your priorities are, what's important to you. There's 5 essentially basic areas: family, relationship, which can be with yourself or socially, career and finance, health, and spirituality, meaning your big relationship with yourself, your purpose in the world. Okay, those are the areas. We explore those areas. Now, just to explain briefly, and I'm going to hand it back over to Ari, is the dynamic of what we do. We're not your boss. We're not your rescuer. We're not coming in there as your coach. We facilitate self-improvement, self-discovery, self-empowerment. So because you have the tools, you just got to use them. But opening those gateways is hard, not easy. We unpack it. So it's your life. You're in control. You're becoming self-empowered through our sessions. That's how it works. And there is no we're equal. There's no hierarchy. We're not here and you're here. We're here. We're in it together for you, to empower you. So you can become self-empowered and create the life you imagine. But getting clarity on that, that's also hard. So we do some mind mapping, right? Where are you right now? What is honestly your situation? And self-awareness is the beginning of everything. A lot of times we're just not aware. We're not self-aware of what's really happening. We know the symptoms. I don't have a job. The check's not coming in. I'm not happy. Am I a bad person? Am I a good person? Why is my family so dysfunctional? Why am I not happy at work? Right? A lot of questions. And that's where we deep dive into those questions. Why are those there? What's happening inside of you? So where are you at right now in that moment? Where do you want to be? Get a great, clear vision of what that is. Like with clients today, and it's like, let's paint that picture. What do you want? Getting clarity, specificity about that vision. So you're here right now. You want to be here. But right in there is the work. How are we going to get there? Ultimately, how are you going to get there? And that's what the life coaching is. We are in it with you. We ask a lot of questions. I don't talk this much. I try not to. Ari's like, honey, silence. Not in a bad way, but in a really, really healthy way. Because it's true. But I get impassioned about these things, and you'll hear me as we go on, because it matters. There's too many people are struggling unnecessarily. A simple just shift in mindset and thought process can just put you on that path that you need to be. Because it's not always the path you imagine it's going to be. Trust me, I've thought, oh, this is where it's going, right? And you get this other thing, but then you look at it as if like, what is that? I don't get it, but it's in your life for a reason. Just like this very moment, and you're here for a specific reason, right? Looking for something, a change, that personal transformation, being unstuck. Thank you. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. I get going. So I'm going to hand it back over to you. I see some of your stuff in the chat, but just for clarity, we will also answer your questions. You showed up, you're here. We do want to answer your questions and get to you, and we'll definitely do that. If you have stuff in the chat box, we will get to that, but I really want to focus my attention on the moment. So.
And you're very inspiring, Sean. That's what I think people love about you so much. And it's also the excitement. We encourage the excitement of being excited about your life. And that's, a lot of times when we're feeling a certain way, or we can't get up in the morning, or it's not as easy as you think. I hear that a lot, and it actually is. And that's the how. That's the how we help you generate this new routine for you in your life, so that you can be excited about your day, on a good day and a bad day, because we all have them. We all have these ups and downs, which is absolutely human. But it's how do you help yourself out of it? And how do you choose happiness? And how do you choose? Because as soon as you choose happiness and love for your day, you can adjust how your day runs. When we're young, nobody really teaches us the how. They tell us what to do, and then we do it, and it stays with us until we're adults. So now we need to be taught how. And that is a beautiful, magical word. And it's not a scary question. How, help. Those are two major things in our lives. I'm stuck. That's a how, right? How do I get out of this? How do I move on from the place that I'm stuck in? And there is always an answer if you do the work, right? There's your circumstance, there's your thought, there's your feeling, there's your action, and there's your reaction. And those happen like that. So today, hopefully, when we'll bring on our guest, and hopefully we'll be able to, you'll really listen to how we coach, because sometimes, like I said, you might hear something, go, a light bulb will go off, and say, wow, that really also affects my life as well, because we are all connected energy wise, and we feel off of each other, even through this screen. And I'll have that. And I know Sean has that very much with his clients, is I feel you when we're working together. I'm listening, I'm feeling. And that's what's so important about what we do to help support you. Okay, so I would love to bring on Molly. Molly, if you can raise your hand for Sean.
I see it. I see it. Great. I'm going to bring you on as a panelist. Hopefully I have the right Molly, and I'm pretty sure I do.
Yes.
I'm inviting you on. I'll get all the audio.
Yes. And I think, Molly, you might have to adjust your sound. There should be a little picture. It says mute. There you are.
Aha. Hey, guys.
Hi.
Hello. How are you?
How are you?
So good. Great. Good to see you again.
It's so good to see y'all.
You too. You too. Thank you so much.
I'm guessing.
What's going on?
I'm calling you. You're calling from the South. You said y'all. I've just gotta.
Yes, from Atlanta, calling from the South, waiting for snow to get here. Not here yet. So I'm jealous of all the snow that y'all have been getting.
Oh, well, I got plenty. So you just let me know. I'll just ship it to you.
Awesome.
Well, great to see you, Molly. Tell us a little bit about your life and what you certainly would like to focus on today.
Well, I can tell you this past year has been very challenging. I actually had to redo my wedding, redo my honeymoon, not once, not twice, but 3 times. We finally did get married in July and had beautiful ceremony, had a wonderful honeymoon with our children. But I'm also a small business owner. And over the past year, it's been very difficult, just like most small business owners are going through. So my big question is, how do we navigate this next year of uncertainty, kind of going forward, making sure that that we're doing all we can for our clients, and more specifically for our staff, to make sure that they're taken care of. That's kind of the biggest question that I have right now, is just trying to make sure that everybody's okay and that we can continue to flourish and grow our business going forward.
Nice. That's nice. That's great you care about the employees. Can I ask you, what are you doing with your employees in the current state of affairs?
Well, my business partner and I, we actually have not taken a paycheck since July. We're trying to save everything that we can and make sure that they are taken care of first. So
That's powerful. Well done. And have you had to let anybody go? Are they all still with you?
we had to let 2 people go, but that was primarily for childcare reasons, because they had to stay home with their children to do digital learning. They had no other options. So unfortunately, we did have to let them go. But the other 5 people that are with us, we have been able to keep them aboard. We try to keep them working as best that we can. And again, we're just trying to have any avenue that we can to bring revenue into the company and really save their jobs.
Excellent. And how are you? Go ahead. Do you have a question?
No, go ahead, honey.
Yeah, I'm just, because it sounds like you're doing the right things, by the way, which is
Okay.
applauded. And by the way, the challenge is enormous. It is global, literally, like
Right.
enormous challenge for sure.
Right.
And how are you feeling? How are you doing about the efforts that you just described?
I mean, my business partner and I, like I said, we talk every day. We try to come up with new ways to bring business in. We've really streamlined the business. So if there has been a positive over the past year, we've really learned how to cut back on some of the wasteful things that we were doing. So that's good. But we're trying to maintain our own health, our family's own health, as well as just making sure that everyone's okay, not only, physically, but also mentally through this whole past year. It's been a challenge.
Mhm.
Good for you.
So I think this is a good point. You're at a mark in your business where you're communicating with your partner, but on a personal level, what the things that you can do differently is, your circumstance is your circumstance, right?
Right.
And your thought behind it, what is your thought at where you're at in your circumstance right now?
Well, we, like I said, we've been trying to
For you
streamline.
personally, how is your thought of where your business is right now? How are you feeling about it?
We can actually kind of see a light at the end of the tunnel right now. We can see some things happening for the summer. So it's kind of like right now we're trying to hang on for the next 4 to 5 months,
Mhm.
because we kind of can see that light at the end of the tunnel. But it's just a matter of trying to make sure that we're staying, I guess, sane during all this, and to make sure that we're doing everything that we can. But we can see the light is just not quite there yet.
So if you could describe that in one word about Molly, I feel about the situation. Hopeful, or whichever word fits your mind.
Wow, there's so many words that you can use. I feel apprehensive at times.
Ah,
Sometimes I feel like a failure. And it's in those moments that I kind of have to remind myself it's not about us per se. It's a circumstance that everybody is in. And so I try to remain, I guess, hopeful would be a good word. I remain grateful for everything that we've done so far. And that's, like I said, there are just so many words to kind of describe it. There's not just one thing at this point.
and I'm asking that specifically because when we really break down where you are in your mental state, if the apprehensive swings in and it might push out the hopeful,
Right.
then you're not getting your best business day done,
You're
right?
correct.
So you get
Correct.
stuck, right?
Correct.
So your
Absolutely.
circumstance is getting your business, moving your business ahead. So
Right.
now your thought sounds like it's a little more apprehension, right? Because there's
Right.
worry.
Right.
So then your feeling, your thought is apprehension. Your thought is, well, we got to hang on. Your feeling is apprehension. So now your action is what?
Yeah, exactly.
Uh-huh.
It's
And your
yeah,
right. And your
right.
reaction, you're like, I don't, what would your reaction be after this for you?
I mean, after that, it's kind of, I go into a state of, okay, what do we need to do next? I always try to
Perfect.
kind of do the action steps next. And even if it's something that I can't control, I'm still trying to, make phone calls or do marketing, or just there's still action moving forward even when that apprehension comes in.
So the perfect thing for you to start doing now with that is take the same thing I just gave you, your circumstance, right? And now
Uh-huh.
you can change your thought to something else, something positive.
Okay.
And once you start changing that, so now you're going to self-evaluate, not just your business, but yourself,
Okay.
right? So you self-evaluate yourself on switching that thought to something that is proactive for you, which now is going to change your feeling, which is going to change your action and your reaction. And the work, if you do that, and then after you do your self-evaluation, you can write down on a daily basis, on a hourly basis, what did I do today that worked?
Okay.
What did I do today that didn't work? And what can I do differently? And it really seems so simple, but there is enough work out there, even during a pandemic. You
Correct.
can create this value and you can recreate this value in you and your company, and then bring it to your business partner as you start to say, hey, I just had a new idea. And every day, okay, that idea didn't work, but what did work today? We got a new client, or we got, however that is. So write all those things down. And from each one of those new ideas develops a new one and a new excitement about how you can move your company forward. It's a slower process, but if you're going to get to that larger position as this pandemic, hopefully things start to slow down, but even remove the pandemic itself, business is business, right? Things are
Right.
still moving, and it's still possible once you break down your circumstance and your value to be successful before summer.
Okay. Makes sense.
Do you see how that prioritizing, that shift in thought is creating a whole nother set of possibilities for you?
Absolutely.
And you nailed this, your personal well-being, you put that at the top of the list. That's great. You're one of the company leaders. And you also are concerned about the well-being of your staff, right? And
Right.
strategizing. And when the fear of failure, as you described, and we all have it, by the way, it's a feeling. We don't put it under the rug. It's a feeling there to tell you something. It's like your car running out of gas. It's warning you. Wait, what's this fear of failure? And your response to that now sends you off in the path of either success or personal just spiral downward, right?
Okay.
So that changing that thought and your response, not a reaction. If you can distinct the two, does that make sense when I explain the two, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, you're getting now, so you get clarity rather than chaos inside. I just witnessed it. You're getting clarity and you're already doing it, but you're like, how can I do it better? So when these thoughts of failure come in, what would you do?
Do you think something I've been trying to do is take anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes before I start my day to do some sort of a meditation, just kind of clearing my head out, kind of thinking, okay, what do I need to do today? You know, what steps can I take? Just trying to clear all the clutter out before the day starts. And then even at night, sometimes before I go to sleep, I try to do a just kind of like a gratitude thing of, okay, hey, this did work today. Thank you so much for the lesson. I try to try to do this as much as possible. Is there anything else I could do during the day, possibly just taking a few minutes or doing something differently?
Yes, what you're doing is a wonderful routine. Ground that, which is beautiful. A lot of times people are preparing for the day in the morning. Meditation is simply the practice of being with yourself, with your thoughts. It doesn't
Okay.
necessarily need to be sitting there going, oh, whatever, but is being comfortable in the silence of your own mind. And the bees will start buzzing. Oh my God, what am I going to do?
Right.
The business is, right? And that
Right.
time with you is getting clarity around those. They're okay. We all have them. Managing them, responding to them, and taking clear, positive action. That's a perfect practice. So I want to applaud you for that routine. Prep the night before. We tell our clients, please try to get that routine the night before where you're with
Okay.
yourself and write it
Okay.
down. And you write your very clear plan. And by the way, not always going to go away you want it to,
Right.
but when it doesn't, what happens? How do you respond? How do you react? That's being self-aware, because you're building a nice relationship with yourself at night in your meditation, and you're building a nice, clear time in the morning if you have to get up at 5 or 4. I know some CEOs are get up at 4 because the world starts on the East Coast, well before that. But it's your time to find clarity. And when the chaos hits, or the fear of doubt, and then to answer your question, what can you do in the middle of the day? You take that time out for you,
Okay.
because it's worth it. You go, it's non-negotiable sometimes for yourself if you value that, right?
Okay.
And now you've already set in motion some things I just witnessed. Clarity of, you know what? If you're the well-being of your clients, love to hear from you. Probably we see light at the end of the tunnel. An email, a phone call, whatever. I don't. That's well-being. That's purpose. That you're caring for your clients.
Molly, do you mind sharing what your business is?
No, not at all. I co-own a company called Lice Ladies. So we remove head lice from children. And of course, it's been so difficult right now because the kids have been in digital learning for so long. So it's, part of the kids are going back. Some still aren't back in school yet fully, but until everything kind of resumes kind of normally, the kids just aren't passing lice like we're used to seeing, where they're hugging and whispering and putting their heads next to each other and things like that. So that's kind of been the struggle, is just people aren't around and doing the normal things that they do to catch head lice, I guess you could say.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Perhaps there's an expansion of what you guys offer. You and your partner could sit down and go, okay, why do we do what we do? How else can we help our community, our children, or whatever your area of focus is?
Okay.
And it's a wonderful brainstorm. This is the creative process.
Mm-hmm.
A challenge with a deadline is creativity. When we meet a challenge with a certain deadline, it makes us think, it makes us create.
Right.
That's what the fear is about. The fear isn't to get us to spiral downward or say feel the failure. Like, hold on. Am I a failure? I am taking care of my staff with their well-being. It's huge. That's unbelievably purpose-filled life. That's wonderful that you extend yourself that way. That's
Well,
what
we take it very personally. I mean, because the women that work for us, some of them are single moms and this is their only paycheck, or they're just single people and this could be their only paycheck, or, they're the breadwinner of the family. So we take this very, very seriously when it comes to the well-being of our employees. We want to make sure that they're taken care of, and that they're okay. That's really what it's about, is making sure that they're okay.
Do you feel you're doing that?
Absolutely. I think that we're doing everything that we can. I mean, we're pulling from every resource that we can to make sure that they're okay. We're calling them, hey, how are you guys doing? Not just in business, but personally. And so, we really are reaching out to them and making sure that they're doing all that we can.
Love it.
And there are some other thoughts too, as you look at the expansion possibly of your business, which is a great suggestion as well, because you're doing such a wonderful job keeping the communication in-house. How about taking the communication out, whether it be into a new idea to add to your company, whether it could be an angel investor that might be, large scale, but see who your business aligns with, and
Right.
how maybe you can create a partnership or things like that that can help you expand where you are. And then when things move back into more of a normal position, you'll not only have your one portion of your business, you'll now have an extension of it,
Right.
which will add in revenue or new ideas. And that too will go with what worked, what didn't, what can I do differently as you build all of these amazing parts of your business.
Yes. Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, this has been wonderful just to kind of talk and, not talking to other people outside of the realm of Lice Ladies, because it's almost like we've kind of exhausted everything that we can between my business partner and I. So it's good to hear these ideas.
And exhaustion is a thought, and you can change it.
Absolutely.
So now it can go from exhaustion to exciting.
Okay.
And every time you feel exhausted, say, "Ooh, I got to get excited about a new plan."
Okay.
And it's easy to shift once you get that practice, that how do I get there? Just change it. Just do it. Just change it. It really, really works. And you can do it with the smallest little things, and it will really shift how you work. As soon
Okay.
as you start feeling that those words that bring your energy down, shift it with an energy that brings you up.
Okay.
And that's the process. When
Mhm.
we, in the initial part with, like, even when we work with clients, is becoming really self-aware. So self-aware, like really a sense, that sensitivity of like you feeling the exhaustion. We hear a lot of energy. I don't have any more energy. I'm like, well, where's that coming from? I feel stress. I feel anxiety. Okay, let's unpack that a little bit and get to the
Okay.
root of what that is. And now you create, now, because you can't fix something that you're not aware of. It's impossible, right? And even working with you and our clients, or what, we get a true sense of awareness, so that we can address what really is the hidden issue. So if exhaustion, you go, well, what is that? Where's that coming from? Right? What's that? Right? Or fear of failure. Like, I don't know if we can deep dive here in front of everybody, but I mean, the idea of like, let's unpack that a little bit, because you're doing some pretty extraordinary things. And with regard to everything you described, pretty extraordinary things. And shifting that thought to go, okay, and we're just big what ifs, because that's the creative process. You open up the palette of possibilities because you have clarity. You're not panicking. You didn't let exhaustion, you didn't let anxiety overwhelm you. You were able to manage it, feel it. It's okay. All those feelings are great. They're there.
I was going to say, trust me, it's been there. But trust me, it's kind of in the back of your mind sometimes. It's always kind of around, but like I said, just doing some of those meditative things, the gratitude, it kind of it makes you stop for a minute and just kind of, like you said, be self-aware. I really like what you just said about you can't fix something that you aren't aware of. That's really powerful to hear.
Thank you. Good. I'm glad you recognize that, because this is what our coaching is. It's about you. This is your time to really bounce these ideas. the sadness, anything that's really in, we unfold that. And once we get clarity, clarity creates action. Action creates clarity. And now you're moving forward in the direction of your dreams. When we're unclear, that's when we get stuck.
Right.
And sometimes it gets to be a loop. And, you know, there'll be sessions in the future. I'm not going to totally get into it at the moment, but the theater of the mind and how a thought, single thought, exhaustion, whatever you know, anxiety, fear of failure, that thought elicits a feeling, depending how deep we go. That feeling elicits a behavior, an action, or inaction sometimes is behavior, not moving, paralyzed, stuck, frozen, right? And from that action, you are now producing, it's like we do on the stage, you produce an experience, right? And in that experience, you are now creating a state of mind, a state of being based on that thought. Just one thought. It goes like that. I'm explaining it slowly. And that's what we do as a craft. Take that thought and I can create any experience you want.
And that thought can be so powerful. That's the thing is, you know, whether it's a good thought or a negative thought, it can be so powerful and sometimes so paralyzing at the same time.
That's right. Well said, Molly. And when you're aware of it, you become aware and you recognize it. Now you can kind of get to the root of where is that coming from? Is that the noise in my own head? Or is that what people are telling me I'm a failure or whatever? Where's that coming from? And being vulnerable and open and honest in these conversations, because that's what we're here for. And your willingness, by the way, and I thank you for showing up and sharing your story.
Sure.
I really appreciate that. So, but it empowering yourself with these thoughts can empower your business and you really in doing the things and creating the life that you want.
Thank you, Molly, so much.
There we go.
Appreciate you coming on.
Thank
And let
you
us-
so much. It's so good to see your faces. Yay.
Yay, yes. And
Yes.
let us know how it's going.
Yes, will
I
you
will.
please let us know?
I
Reach
will,
out.
definitely.
Okay.
I will.
You're at the heart.
Wonderful.
You really are.
Thank you
Yeah.
so much.
You bet.
So much,
It's a
Molly.
pleasure.
See, now
Until
we're
next
good
time.
technology. See how it goes.
Okay, here we go.
Here we go.
Oh boy. The
You can do
ejector
it.
seat. I've never, let me see. Okay. Thank you, Molly. See how that worked. Awesome. I love where her heart's at. I hopefully that was helpful to you out in the audience to see
Yes.
the power of the simple transformation
Mm-hmm.
and how we can get ourselves unstuck.
Yep.
And life coaches, that's what it's about. That's really what it's about. Getting
Absolutely.
unstuck. Yeah. Go ahead. I'm going to see if there's any questions.
Yes, we'll go to
Okay.
any questions right now.
Okay,
If
good.
anybody had any further questions from
Ah.
just even that portion of the session or any of your
So
own.
here's a question. I'm not, it doesn't seem like you want to come on, so I think, unless you do. But how do you overcome anxiety? Now, anxiety is also a very broad term, but we get it. And working on that, addressing it, becoming aware. These are broad strokes, right? Because there's something so unique about the coaching experience because it's different for everybody. What level of anxiety? Well, how anxious do you get? How is it impacting your life? Right? So overcoming is a good word. Working through it, just so you're aware of that. But becoming aware of when that anxiety comes in. When does that hit you? What's the trigger? Is there a word? Is it coming from you? Is it coming from a relative? Somebody told you something a long time ago? Or is it coming from work or lack of work? And why, and where's that? Okay, what is it about work or not working that makes you anxious? And really recognizing it. And then once you recognize it, as we were talking with Molly, you can't solve the problem unless you're aware of it. And getting to the root of that anxiety is really the place we would start in a framework, right? That sense of becoming aware, and then that sense of setting a big goal, and then building habits and rebuilding habits. Let's say whatever's making you anxious, Okay, we're triggering those. What are those? So we edit, delete, or shift. We need to edit that out. What's that thought? Why is that doing that? Because we need to replace it with something that makes you, of course, not anxious, and something that puts you on the path, whatever that word is for you. Whatever it is for you, it's different for everybody. And addressing it head on. Okay, cool. Now we're building habits to the path. Okay, and then we do some self-reflection, because it's not going to work out 100% of the time, right? Like Ari was saying, we need to reflect. We need to reflect and evaluate. Okay, what's working? What didn't work? And we do this a lot with our clients. What worked this week? What worked for you? This. Okay. What didn't work for you? What didn't go so well? Okay, well, let's address that. How? Okay, how can we build on what's working? And how can we shift and adjust what isn't working? Let's say, for example, in this case, makes you anxious. And then ultimately getting out of your comfort zone, that is part of it. That's the work, right? Once we're addressing it, once we're building the habits, we're changing the habits we need to get on the path. We're reflecting what works, what doesn't. Okay, now we're gonna get out of our comfort zone. And it can be in whatever area of your life. That's what we work with on a client, as I was mentioning earlier. Is it work and career, financing? Is it your health? Those are the roots. Is it family and relationships? Okay, is it your spirituality? Are you having a good relationship with yourself? I think, and Ari and I talk about this a lot. How is your relationship with you? And as Molly was saying, the meditation process, that's your time. Are you loving and kind to yourself? When's the last time you're like, I'm amazing? Well, you do it a lot.
Amazing.
But it's so healthy, right? We say things to ourselves we would never say to another human being. Whether it's about your body, whether it's about your mind. Oh, I'm so stupid. I can't believe I did that. Why am I so dumb? Would you say that to another human being? Why are you saying it to yourself? And that gets into the root. Why am I so spiritually? Oh, I could have made a better decision there. God, what am I thinking? Why am I? Like, whoa, hold on. Right? And building that, because it all starts with you. And this is the heart of what we're doing as life coaches in self-empowerment. Not telling you what to do. This is your life. Mm-hmm. It's yours.
And it's breaking down how the anxiety works for you. And I know Sean touched upon that, but it's, I used to have a food anxiety, right? I would be worried about the foods I ate till I realized how allergic I was to them. And so once I did my homework on why I've had that anxiety for so long, because I did a blog on my other website, a short blog about it, but the importance of how to shift that anxiety, shift how I am going to start feeling about food instead of fearing the food. So I love now how I eat instead of fear what's going to hurt me. And you can feel that shift and you can do that work and have a resistance to and building new habits and being able to take control of your thoughts and being able to create a positive outcome on what your anxiety is. And we help break that down. Some levels of anxiety, we may not be able to help, but there is definitely a level that we can help, so we would assess that, of course, and figure out what that is, but they are all different levels. So just to be clear on that, we would help do other make other suggestions for you if your anxiety levels were very high. But really, really, it is all controlled. Again, it all goes back to our thoughts.
I'm trying to look at some of the questions, so I am listening.
Okay, so I hope that answered that question. Let's go to another one.
Bounce those in there. Positive thoughts. Yes, you're so right, Elizabeth. Positive thoughts, so powerful.
Just and as Cammie, I think Cammie I saw mentioned, prayer. Molly mentioned meditation. All these things, those are the things that work for you, which is a beautiful thing.
Yes, prayer, meditation, both part.
Which goes along with some time management. So if you're a person who finds, I don't have time to do that, or I'm not interested in it, it's all different levels. Meditation is, can be, if you are a type of person who's not into meditation, it can be a type of word that you go, it's too spiritual. So what do we do? Instead of using the word meditation, you say, time for me, time for myself. I'm going to take 5 to 10 minutes to sit with a candle lit and read a book. And that's your form of meditation. And if you set an alarm, if you're not very good at taking that time out for you, if you set an alarm, and I do this with so many people, 5 minutes. 5 minutes can feel like an eternity, but if you put everything else away and you set your alarm for 5 minutes, and even if you just sit and breathe, you will start to see that your 5 minutes will be like, ooh, I'm in a really good place, maybe 2 more minutes. Or the 5 minutes will start to train you into good habits, which is spending that time with yourself and really working on being with you. Because there's no one on this earth no one on this earth will care for you and love you more than yourself. You just have to allow it.
Yes, Melissa had a good question and talked about struggling emotionally sometimes, which we all do. We all struggle with physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually.
Mhm.
These are all encompassing, but addressing them specifically, which is true. Are we
Mhm.
struggling physically? Are we struggling mentally, emotionally, right? And addressing them specifically is the perfect place to start. But emotions are feelings that come in and go, right? Rather than a state of being. So a lot of times we feel things and then we just run with our emotions when we're like, wait, what happened to this state of being, which is more consistent, and addressing the difference? Because yeah, we can get off on emotional roller coasters and things are happening and life can get chaotic, and especially now. But are we going to run loose? What are we doing with those emotions? Or how are we managing them? Can we manage them, or do we just let them control our lives? Right? Do we let our emotions dictate the day, or do we choose to dictate the day? A lot of times we wake up letting the emotions and the schedule and everything dictate how our whole day goes. Next thing you know, you're like, oh my God, my day just was awful. You're like, what do you mean? Well, I had this thing happen. Like, was it the whole day or just the one thing? Right? So a lot of times we amplify those emotions more than recognize how we can create a different response or a different reaction. And
I
yes,
did.
go ahead. Go ahead. Yep.
I did have a pre-question, because going with what you were saying, Sean, which was so beautiful, I had a question that was written in earlier, and the question was, how do you know if you're dating a narcissist, and is it wrong to be with them because you don't want to be alone?
Mhm. Yeah.
So let's sit with that for a second, just for a second. I think that the answer is within the question already. It's really within the second question. And it really doesn't matter what type of person you're with. If you are happy, if you're happy 100% where you are with this other person in your life and where you are in your life, then you've answered the question. It's okay to be where you are. But if it makes you upset or brings you anxiety, it brings fear into your life, then you might want to start self-evaluating yourself on how and where you want your life to go and where you see yourself going, and the journey that you are going to take to get to this position and happy. Because it really doesn't, as you're doing this self-reflection and this work, it doesn't matter what somebody else does. You have the power to change the course of your life. And Sean and I were discussing earlier about the word alone and loneliness. Alone actually is a very positive word, because as we're just talking, how many times do we say, I need alone time? If you have kids, I need alone time. If you're working too hard, I just need some alone time. That is a wonderful, positive word. Loneliness, that's a little lower in the negativity realm. So the interesting thing about the word loneliness is, are we ever truly lonely? Only here, only in your heart. But when it comes to family, friends, coworkers, you're never truly lonely if you don't allow yourself to be. And I think we get confused about relationships, right? I'm alone if I don't have a boyfriend. I'm alone if I don't have a girlfriend. I'm alone if I don't have a husband. But are you truly? Because you really have to think about your circumstances. You have your girlfriends, you have your family, you have your life. Those things should be making you should be finding those things that make you happy and bring you joy. Therapy shopping, whatever you want to call it. Those things should be bringing you those joys, because those are the things that are making you happy. But if someone else is infecting your happiness, you have to do the self-evaluation and the work to decide if this is the path that you want to stay on. And if you're okay with it for the rest of your life, this is the rest of your life, however many years you have left, then your choice is now to accept that pattern and that path. And that's it. You're going to accept staying in that place. So,
Yeah.
go ahead, John.
But that is what you want. But there's a very wonderful illustration of being alone and loneliness, right? Lonely could be also called solitude, which can be very therapeutic. And quite often when we are alone and we're afraid, this is interesting because, sometimes we get afraid to just be with ourselves. It's so hard. It's, especially when you're feeling lonely and I don't feel loved. And I'm like, well, why? What's that about? Okay, do you love yourself? What are the 3 qualities you love in a partner? Great. Okay, cool. You love that in a partner. That's what you want. Yes. Okay. What do you love about yourself? Are those 3 in the list? Do you love yourself the way you want to be loved? Because it starts with you. Once you start loving yourself, and I kind of spiral off this, but the idea of loneliness, that is your time to love yourself, to acknowledge some pretty amazing qualities. And some of the things you go, I could fix that. Because now you have the opportunity to be alone. Feeling loneliness is a state of mind, because the thoughts, and you're like, okay, where are those thoughts that are spiraling me to feel loneliness? Examining, unpacking that a little bit so we can explore it before it becomes into despair, which is not a good place to be. Right.
So Sean, we only have a few minutes left here, which was amazing. But I did want to, and I know we shared jumping into making this investment for yourself and the importance of making this investment for yourself, right? As we talk about the work it takes. And when you think about investment initially, what's really the equal word that you think about when you think about the word investment? Money, right? Finance, whatever it usually is attached to each other, right? Because when we make an investment, our goal and our hope is to maybe have a bigger place to live, a better education for us or ourselves or our children, maybe a better car, or just the opportunity to buy what we want, when we want it. And that all takes an investment, right? It takes you going to work during the day or whatever the case is, but you have to invest in order to get those things. But then what do you think to yourself when you hear, do you take the time to invest in yourself and taking that time to do the work for you so that it does circle around and go back to all the things that I just mentioned, which is a bigger place, a better education, a nicer car, whatever those things that are important to you, whatever those mean. Making that list for yourself. And what's interesting is, we have a lot of clients that are getting their master's degrees, that are getting higher education, and they're applying for jobs, and they're not getting to where they want to be. And how long does it sometimes take to get your master's or a higher education of some sort, right? It takes 1, 2, maybe 3 years. But then you're looped right back around to right before you started your education, and you spent all that time and you're still not moving in the direction that you wanted to. You've expanded your educational mind, but you haven't expanded your thought process, right? So that's the importance of this investment of for yourself, to get yourself to the next level, to the next place, to be more successful, because there's always room for more. It's available. You just have to make it.
Which is a really good point. And I'll circle full circle when I was
Full
talking.
circle.
Full circle, investing in you, right? You all showed up. You've taken that initial investment because you know what, damn it, this matters to me and I need to listen and I want to hear it. And I'm tired of being in this space, right? So now you've said, I'm putting me first. I love that phrase, by the way. It sounds selfish because we hear all our lives. Don't be so selfish. Like, which can be good, by the way. I'm not saying don't be compassionate and empathetic, but dang, sometimes you're like, I need to, when do I take care of me? I take care of you, the dogs, the house, the family, the thing. When do I take care of me? When am I investing in my own life? And it's fascinating because now once we start putting ourselves first, right? And I'll talk about life coaching in particular. For example, working with us, right? Let's just work on that. Let's just say, let's just put that up as an example. Okay, I'm going to make this investment. I'm going to work with a life coach. I'm going to work with you guys. I'm done being stuck. I'm going to invest because it's a priority in my life. And because, okay, yes, I'll have to invest. I could buy less of this because maybe I need less of this, but I'll tell you what, investing in me is a priority for 2021. And damn it, I want to work with these life coaches. If that's how you feel, which is great. So now you went from, you're going, well, you know what? No, I don't know. No, I don't know if I need that right now. I don't know if I need life coaching. No, it's not really my priority right now. Invest in me. Okay. But after this conversation, hopefully, let's say you started saying yes to life a little more. And you went, okay, maybe I'll do some life coaching. Maybe I could do it. I don't know. Maybe. So now you have opened the door, a new door that you have never opened yet. It's dark, a little mysterious. I don't know what's going on. There's mystery, there's magic in there. It's scary. I don't know what's life coaching. I don't know. Hopefully we broke that down for you a little bit. Like, I don't know, but maybe. Okay. And this happens with our clients. I'm telling you, it's beautiful to see. And they walk in this mysterious room. And now you're like, oh my God, I can't believe I did it. I can't believe I did it. I can't believe I did it. How many, we say it all the time. You know, we take that little risk or that little thing that we didn't think we'd do. We go, can't believe I did it. I can't believe I did it. But you're doing it. Now you're doing it. And the transformation, the thing we see so much, the clients is now, they're like, I'm sure we all said this too, by the way, is, oh my God, I can't believe I didn't do this sooner. Why did I stay stuck for 2020 or 2019 or however long? Why did I allow myself to be stuck? And I put all these other priorities in front of me, investing in me. And it's the spirit of life coaching and why we do certainly what we do, because you're worth it. You're absolutely 100% worth investing in. Breaking down those obstacles, those blind spots. Where a lot of times we're on autopilot. We don't even know. You're like, wait, oh, that's why I keep doing this thing? That's the definition of insanity. Keep doing the same thing, expecting a different result. Einstein was like, you keep doing the same thing, expecting a different result. It's insanity is the idea, right? So doing something different. Saying yes to life. God dang, because I'm worth it. You're worth it. I don't want to be indulgent with the time. I know I said an hour. So
yeah,
we could go on and on. But I hope you understand. If you have any other questions, thoughts, stuff, please email. I'm seeing some great comments in here. Please reach out and book. I tell you what, book a free consultation.
Yes, you get definitely a free consultation for sure. And if you've already had one, we just do one free consultation and then we can talk about the rest. And we thank you all so much for joining us for this webinar. And we will definitely have this once a month. So we'll have some different topics. But we just wanted to guide you into what we do now. So please reach out to us for sure. And let's get going on changing that path in your life.
Go out there, create the life you imagine. It's yours.
That's right.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody. Till next time.
All right. Thank you all.